welcome mat still says home sweet, but the sweet is faded gray. I wipe my feet on something that no longer means what it would say. The porch light bulb I changed last week is buzzing like a fly, trapped inside a jar of honey, waiting to get dry.
I watched you from the window as you loaded up the car. You left the trunk half open like a half-forgotten scar. You drove away without the rearview mirror catching me. I stood there in the doorway of a house that used to be.
And now the floors all creak your name, the walls all know your scent. The faucet drips the rhythm of a promise that got bent.
I've rearranged the furniture 1,000 times or more,
but every couch still faces the direction of the door you walk through. Slamming shut a language I can't speak, a dialect of leaving that has made my own voice weak. So I'll sit here in the quiet with the echo of your shoes, and I'll let the silence teach me every lesson I refuse. Your grandmother's old rocking chair still sits beside the hearth. I've never had the courage to move something with that much worth. Not in dollars, but in memory, the way you'd sit in it and watch the snow fall through the window, how you never quit.
rocking back and forth, a metronome of patience and of peace. I'm rocking in it now, a fraud, a counterfeit release. Because the chair knows I'm not you, it creaks beneath the weight of someone who is only borrowing a borrowed fate.
I found a box of letters in the attic last July. You wrote them in the first year before the art of goodbye became a second language, when we still believed in ink, when we still thought that promises could patch a leaky sink.
I read them all by flashlight, sitting on the dusty floor. I read the way you wrote my name, like a prayer before the war. The war that was the leaving, the slow retreat of your hands, the way they stopped reaching for me in the dark and distant land.
And now the floors all creak your name, the walls all know your scent. The faucet drips the rhythm of a promise that got bent. I've rearranged the furniture 1,000 times or more, but every couch still faces the direction of the door you walk through. Slamming shut a language I can't speak, a dialect of leaving that has made my own voice weak. So I'll sit here in the quiet with the echo of your shoes, and I'll let the silence teach me every lesson I refuse. I tried to burn the letters in a barrel in the yard, but the matches were all wet from a rain that hit me hard. So I spread them on the driveway underneath the August sun, and I watched the ink fade slowly watch the evidence undone.
Without a flame, without a ceremony, just the rays of a sun that didn't care about the ending of our days. The paper turned to yellow, the words turned to ghost, and I turned into a person who doesn't raise a toast.
The grocery store checkout still asks for your loyalty card. I swipe my own and tell the bagger that it isn't hard to shop for one when you have shopped for two for 7 years. But the freezer section gets me every time, the frozen tears
of berries that we used to buy for smoothies on the weekend. I buy them anyway and let them thaw, a frozen friend that melts into a puddle of a color I can't name. The color of the bruise that forms when love forgets its aim.
I went to see your favorite band play at the club downtown. They played the song that we first danced to, and the room spun around. I stood there like a statue in a crowd of moving limbs, and I felt the other dancers brush against me like the hymns
of a congregation praying to a God that isn't there. I left before the encore, took a breath of city air that smelled like diesel and regret and someone's cheap perfume. I walked home in the rain and let the water seal my tomb.
And now the floors all creak your name, the walls all know your scent. The faucet drips the rhythm of a promise that got bent.